did some takedowns off the front headlock, looking at snap downs, trips here, stuff like that, okay? This week is gonna be kind of boring. It's just gonna be all about getting there in the first place, okay? First half of class are just gonna be like really proactive with this, all right? Proactive meaning we're advancing. He's not really giving me any trouble making his offensive grips. So when we do this, can you hold your hands out, please? For those of you that don't wrestle too much, we want to have inside control when we do this, okay? If we don't, we'll talk about that later, okay? That's going to complicate things, all right? So inside is just inside the hands and shoulders here, and what we call like bicep ties, okay? So we're going to switch one of our bicep ties to a collar tie, all right? Now, to develop good habits here, when we hit our snap downs, we don't actually want to be using our hands too much to control it first. We want to be using our wrists and our forearms. So as I do this, if you guys notice, I'll actually just keep my hands open like this, okay? This will come into play in a second. Okay? Guys, don't make this mistake. Gi and no gi, people always tend to pull like straight back. And look, that's where all this balance is. And not to mention, if he's a good wrestler, I'm gonna pull him right into an attack on my legs. Yeah, you don't want that. So instead, we're gonna make a sideways, like what we call trail movement here. So away from my power hand, that's my right hand, the collar tie, I'm gonna step out. And this leg's gonna trail around. Guys, do a few reps here where you just work on the snap, and then we'll add the front headlock. So watch, 1, 2, watch my hands. Okay. You're literally, like you got water all over your hands, trying to like flick your hands to the mat, just like trying to touch your hands to the floor. Okay? So just a couple reps where you do that. Okay. Ideally, we're trying to make him put his hands on the floor. Okay? That's like full range of motion. For those of you that have been here all week and last week, we want to follow up, right? We just don't want to like snap him and have him get right back up. So the reasonable follow-up here is we're going to pass the head to a front headlock. 1, 2, snap. You guys see I still have the collar tie. I'm going to pass it. It's like we're catching a football here. Okay, whenever you front headlock, couple things. We want our shoulder on our partner's back so his head doesn't pop out. That's important for guillotine chokes too. Second thing, you guys see I'm over exaggerating here with my legs and hips. I want them back. Because when you snap them, a lot of times they are going to make a dive for your legs here. Yeah. Okay. Do not do this. Yep. Bye. Step. Snap. Pass. And then right here, guys, you can just stop with the C grip on the elbow. Okay? Guys, remember when you're here, if you weren't here the last few weeks, okay, when you chin strap, grab the chin, pull it out. Shoulder here, just clamp on the elbow. To pass the head when you hit your snap down, do you have to go this way? No, you don't. Okay? So if you ever hit a snap down on somebody, you need to make sure that your shoulder is above their head if you're going same side, okay? And this is really going to go into the next drill too. Like for example, if I go to hit a snap down and I don't really snap Ulysses down, I cannot be reaching over it like this. Guys, you're going to get suplexed. So inside control. Climb up to our collar ties. Again, I'm going to recommend that you guys keep your hands open so you're ready to snap here. It's going to influence you to use your whole arms rather than just your hands, which is a very good function. Okay. 1, 2, snap. My shoulder's above his head. That's perfect. That's what I need for access to the front headlock. 1, 2, then control the elbow. Okay. Another thing too, guys, is like if we're ever going for the initial snap here, okay, and we can't move his head to begin with, but he's not quite so tall. Guys, you can always move yourself around him too. Guys, especially off that last one, if you start passing his head around and he's just so rigid and so tall, like most jiu-jitsu guys when they wrestle, guys, that's when you should change your left foot and shoot. Sorry. So a lot of times here, like if he won't let me connect to him, he's being really rigid. Again, pummeling on the head, and when he goes to fight out, taking our shot there. Sometimes here, if we're not getting that strong reaction, he's not posturing up, we start pushing the head. Then we can go into singles, okay? Eventually we'll have a class where we merge all of that. If we want to hit snap downs, gi or no gi, okay, we cannot have people gripping on our upper body here. So we'll look at this from a few different scopes. The most basic is going to be like if he already has a grip on me, we need to strip this grip, okay? It's pretty straightforward. A lot of different ways to do this. For now, I'm just going to show you one. We're just going to bring both hands to the wrist. Again, so we're not sacrificing any openings here. And bringing this grip straight up, okay? Now, he could grip my sleeves here, or whatever the case, it doesn't really matter, all right? It's not gonna stop me from hitting a snap down. As far as what I do with this hand, you guys have a lot of different options. You could just literally stay with the wrist grip. Okay, you can make a spider guard grip, or you can even make just a quick pocket grip here. Okay, it's just gonna depend on, A, of course, your preference, and B, whatever the situation is. Guys, if you're using this style of grip break, you cannot be pushing in this direction. That grip is gonna get like snug. Okay. When I start to push and this starts to get snug, I wanted to redirect it upwards where the grip isn't attached, okay? So if you guys were here and you're like, man, I just can't break this grip, okay? Go up. All right, when you're snapping, okay, in the gi, we want as much leverage as possible here. So it kind of matters where you grab on the lapel. Make sure, again, we talked about this last week. Try to grab nice and high, collarbone or higher. That way you have more leverage to pull with your elbows here. Okay. So you can stay a little more rigid this time. See, I'll continue to use my grips to bring it to the floor. So, partner's grabbing my lapel. Okay. Guys, as long as this hand is here, I can't bring it to the ground. Okay, I have to get this hand off my lapel. In no-gi, it's going to be my neck. Okay. So here, get a burrito grip, or if you guys know other grip breaks, feel free to use them. Okay, here, strip, keep this, or transfer, and make a power grip. Okay. Step out, step back. Okay. That's the motion I'm using. And when I'm ready, I start to snap those grips. Okay. And from here, again, if you're newer to front headlock, shoulder on the back, handcuffing the chin, handcuffing the elbow, and we're keeping our legs and hips back. So this is going to build off of that detail I was talking about where my shoulder needs to be higher than the center. So whenever I see here that he's being rigid enough to avoid that first snap, okay, we're just going to trade hands. We're basically going to pass his head to the other side. 1, 2. Okay. We didn't have to do this as much on the first one. This is pretty straightforward. But as we're passing side to side here, we really want to push this elbow underneath his body. Okay? That's going to really assist this motion. So we're here, step to the side, too rigid, okay? And then here, see, like that. Helps keep them off balance. As you're doing that, you should still complete the same footwork, okay? So as we're here, we should still step to the side trail, look to pass the head, and then we can stop here. C's and I will go a little more realistic here with hand fighting. I get my inside control, I go to snap and I pass, and then I'm on the other side. When you snap that head down, again, keep your ass back. Don't pull the person right into a shot. So guys, if you find your footwork and like, let's say you're tied up here even, you're like, man, I feel like I could snap this guy down without even grabbing his head. You can. As long as you can pull his head over his feet, even stuff like this, we can get reactions here. I don't want to have a little merge between this week and last week. This is going to be pretty important. So this is actually going to go back to one of our previous classes here. So you guys choose either side, either setup, okay? Okay, one of the things he wants to do while it's still in front headlock, and I haven't gotten the actual submission yet, is to post on the hips and try to get his head to the front. If he does that, the likelihood of him escaping the front headlock is very, very strong. If he starts to do that and I start to try to do the normal things where I snap him down, I'm probably going to lose it. Again, I equate this to like you're arm barring somebody, you're about to lose the elbow and you still try to arm bar him anyways. It's like a losing battle, right? When we're here and I feel him post on the hips, I'm still going to walk with the head, walk with my power hand. In this case, it's my left hand. Now when I'm ready, I'm going to take my bicep, actually try to go shoulder deep to his lap, and we're going to use this to gain momentum to pass him through. So he's posting, he's really rigid here, and we manipulate that, and now we connect to the body lock. Guys, if you want good habits here for the body lock, we'll circle back around to this class sooner or later. Forearms connected to the hip bones, okay, start to walk. Okay, that's a good connection, but not realistic because he's going to open my hands eventually. Yeah. Now for your hands, open your wrists, wrist to wrist, butterfly, elbows in. Walk now. Okay. Let's just make it a habit to make that good connection. So forearms on the hips, okay? Wrist to wrist. If you've got short arms, you start to go against a bigger person. Again, kind of our protocol. So we'll slide down to gable. If gable isn't doable, we'll slide down to vest grip. Okay? But always try to make this as tight as you can. Alright? You guys pick your setup here. You snap, but as you get the front headlock, he starts to post on the hips. So he starts to walk. Very similar to what we do in the heat. Then we're ready to pass. So then I dive on the body lock here. Dave was not posting on the hip, rather he was bringing the arm past. Okay, so that's no longer a push. What is it? It's a pull. So should I throw him by here or should I keep him here? I should keep him here. This is a great time to do the stuff we did last week. Where we foot sweep, start to attack the guillotine here. Even snap him back down to the ground before. I'm gonna throw him by if he posts. Okay? You guys, you'll actually find that if he's underhooking, it's hard to throw him by. Usually the game plan I like to use, if they do not post on your hips, and they try to grab your hands and strip them like a lot of people do in guillotines, that is the perfect time to snap somebody down, because his hands are busy. Okay. You will see people go looser rather than like getting really deep on the lat here, especially if he's making a lot of space already. He'll pass the elbow, and that's fine. You probably won't get that big of a reaction. So if we ever end up in that scenario here where he's really far away and we can't connect and he's starting to post out and we go here, okay, that might be a better time to shoot on the leg. A lot of times what's going to happen here, especially if you don't enter in with 2 ties, is he's going to tie up with you as well. And we're going to have more neutral grips like this. I said this during the E class, okay? Whether it's a collar tie or a collar grip on your E, you're not going to hit a snap down unless you get the control of your upper body release, okay? So I can make the perfect angles here, okay? I can start to snap, okay, in any direction, but as long as his arm is connected to my neck, he's not gonna go anywhere. The good news is when you guys do this, you're still gonna make the same steps and mechanics, okay? You're just gonna change a few details to accommodate this. First thing here, Ulysses has a nice loose collar tie here, like move your elbow around, okay? We need to limit that mobility. Again, a loose grip is actually a strong, good grip. So a few things we can do here, we can thumb post, okay? If I've shown a lot of you like throw bys and slides and stuff like that. If you're looking to chamber this with that game, what I want you to do is actually turn your pinky down and start to frame on the collarbone here, okay? Move your elbow around now. See, it's a lot more snug now. Now, this is where we're gonna start to perform those exact same steps. Now the key is to actually perform a successful step down from here, is as I'm moving, I gotta take this hand and I gotta slide it all the way down to his wrist and then hit my snap there, okay? So, as we're in place here, okay, we can be head to head if you want. 1, 2. As I step to the side, my left arm is gonna come all the way down his wrist. Okay? That's when we're gonna hit the snap. When you're snapping, I want you to try to touch your hands to the floor. Okay? Again, like you're aggressively like shaking water off of your hands. So we're gonna take this at kind of like an angle towards ourselves, and then we're gonna snap them straight down. Don't go straight down right away. Alright? So we're tied up. I put this frame in. Okay? I hit that circle again. And as I circle, I'm going to slide down and whip my hands to the floor. And then from here, okay, we could go to things like body locks. But if you guys are looking to stay uniform this week, just go right back to the same finish that we were doing. Okay? Catch the football, then front headlock. Okay? So again, we have our collar tie. We're going to get a frame inside here, okay? I'm gonna step to the side and step back. And we're gonna like snap them into that space at a slope here, okay? 1, 2. See, I still have his head. I pass, chin strap. Then we can see grip the elbow like we did last time. He does a double collar tie. You guys could literally go here, do the same thing. Rail steps, but like also our opponent tried to push us around, okay? So specifically, let's go back to the first one really quick, okay? So if Grant's like pushing into me here, you guys see I'm building more momentum with that. But don't forget, and this is gonna be future classes too, okay? If things aren't working out here, we can always redirect. And get different types of entries here, like our throw bys or slide bys, duck unders in some situations. I do this a lot if I'm going against somebody that's a better wrestler than me, is instead of engaging, just breaking this grip right away and trying to get to an offensive position, which is basically here at 2-on-1. If we're gonna go that route, instead of hitting our collar tie, I'm just gonna reach across and grab his wrist, get that C grip here. And I'm gonna bring in basically this arm under and through like you're about to throw a football instead of catching it. Not a football this week. Okay. Now, same thing here, guys. Look at Ulysses' elbow. Move that around. All right, good. That's a loose grip. All right. So when we do this, we want to be very particular so we're successful in this position. Okay. So when we're here, very important, guys. Do not duck your head. Okay. He could do nothing here, and if I duck my head to break this, like, don't do anything. Oh, no, you're good. You're good. See, it's just not going to come off. And then, like, if he is trying to do something, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to front headlock me. Okay? Do not put your head down when you do this. All right? Instead, all right, this should feel like Ulysses is being Americana. Okay? The best submission in the world. Okay, move your elbow now. Okay, that's a lot of pressure on his shoulder. Okay? Now, we're not staying there. We're just using that pressure to break this grip, go right into that offensive position. All right? So here, pivot. Now, very important, as we enter the 2-on-1, we need to have good shoulder pressure here. This is not a 2-on-1. This is just funny. Like, pull away from me. Yeah, I'm going to lose that right away. Make sure you guys have shoulder-to-shoulder pressure, and you can have your forehead to the side of his head. Okay? We're just keeping this arm tight to our body. Move around, please. See, I should be pretty attached over there. Everything I'm going to do here can be done with this grip, okay? Some people like to lock their hands here. This is fine. Just don't take your shoulder pressure for granted. Me personally, what I like to do here is instead of locking on my own wrist, I actually like to take this hand, shoot under, and like give him a thumbs up here, okay? What you guys should feel when you do this is it puts a ton of pressure on the forearm, and it's very hard for him to pull out of this grip, okay? Now we're gonna use our lower body to snap him as well. So we're gonna go for like what we call a tochi position, okay? Like a half tie tochi. So from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna back step so our legs are in a straight line with his. All I want you guys to do is get your hamstring to his quad, plant your toes, and give your hamstring a quick pop here. That's gonna cause him to lose his balance forwards. As you do this, make sure you're punching this grip to the floor. Then we'll go right back to the front headlock. Okay? But if he's ever posting on you, guys, you could like burrito grip here and also use this as an entry. Just know that it's going to be a little looser. It's a little harder to get. Whereas like if he's collar tying me, like he's pretty connected here. That's a more solid connection. Okay, I said this in the E class. Your grips here should be like you're holding a big log. Okay? This is like one of the strongest mechanically positions you can have your elbows, right? He'll tell you here, like especially if I want to punch this through, if I start pushing this down too much, you feel like you can pull away a little more. Yeah, see? So guys, do your best when you're moving through these positions to keep your elbows connected and have your movements complement that. So I'm not gonna push his wrist down really. Instead, push it to his chest. Then especially here, like if he's trying to keep his arm away, you're like, man, I just can't connect. It's like a kimura, right? That should give you guys more space here. And then even here, if you guys need to hold this for a little bit, okay, keep your elbows in, pull me away. Like get your arm free. Now watch when I straighten this a little bit. Yeah, that can be difficult to hold on to. Because again, guys, eventually this will be its own class. I want to be able to follow, push, pull, so I can hit all kinds of different takedowns here. Grip the wrist. Again, here, like you're about to throw a football. That's how you throw a football. Yeah. Right. So here, rotate. Good shoulder pressure, guys. Like, this is the core of this position. If you don't have good shoulder pressure, you're not going to get really far with your 2-on-1s. Okay? Now from here, if you guys want to hit it from here, you can. This is a strong position. But I'm really going to recommend, since we are hitting a snap down and we want good motions this way, that you work with some sort of locked grip here. Okay? I'm really going to recommend this one. It's very strong. All right? And you guys see, as soon as I bring my legs in a straight line with his, all 4 feet in the straight line, and I step here, not only do I off balance with this hamstring extension, I can start extending both my arms, and that's going to pull his shoulder towards the floor as well. So I'm doing that as well as making him fall over my own leg. So here, straighten. As you straighten your hands, I actually give you guys a really good strong entry to the front headlock here. Here, and we're hand fighting, and he goes to reach to make that lapel grip. I can intercept to begin with and have a 2-on-1 here, okay? And don't get me wrong, like even if we mess up and we break here, we can always just choose to keep the cross hand as well, okay? Either way, we're just gonna trade sides this time. So I'm gonna make my grip on the cross side, okay? And then from here, I'm gonna step in and either grab his belt if it's still on and tight, maybe at the beginning of the match. If it isn't, we're just gonna grab a hunk of gi on his back here, okay? Now we're just gonna look at a different approach to snapping him down with this. I'm keeping his arm tight to my body. I'm keeping good shoulder pressure. I want you to step back so all 4 of your feet are in a straight line, okay? Now the off balance is gonna come here. I'm gonna put my hamstring over his quad. All I want you guys to do is push off your toes and extend your hamstring to make his hand come to the floor, okay? And then as soon as that happens, we can start to let go now and go right back to front headlock, okay? Arm being bent or straight, and more about taking your elbows with your grips and attaching them to your body so that when he moves, see, I move with him. Now watch when I start to move my elbows away. Make space, yeah, so. You're gonna look kind of goofy, but you know, try to do this. This will apply to no-gi as well, okay, so watch. Whenever we do this movement, or even specifically when we get back into body locking, overhooks, underhooks, stuff like that, there's this idea that we like want to stab our partner with our hips or like joust them, right? Like that's our connection. Like if our hips are connected, I'm not really like loading them up, putting pressure into them for throws, stuff like that, all right? So for this, instead of your hip, guys, it's really the back of your leg to the front of their leg, that your hamstring to their quad. Because Sean was saying this, he's not just going to stand there, right? They might try to move away from you. Go ahead, move, just walk back. You guys see? I keep stretching this leg into his, and then when I'm ready, I can start to off balance, okay? He's asking, like, if you don't get enough power here with your leg, can you just shoot the grip straight down? Absolutely. That's huge in wrestling, okay? So on top of this, if you guys ever need to, you can go more upper body here and stretch. Either from here, or if we're grip fighting here, and then step in, okay? Both of you facing the same way. Nice step in here. And remember guys, we're not kicking them in the nuts, we're just straightening our hamstring. And then down to the front. We just talked about a same side sleeve grip and a cross sleeve grip. We didn't get really too much into the lapel grip. Okay, but if you guys remember, especially a few weeks ago, instead we have a cross collar grip and even a same side sleeve grip here sometimes, okay? This is very conducive with things like the collar drag, okay? So when we went here, collar drag being the ukiwaza, here, okay? Usually get big movements there. So in the same vein that we use the half Tayatoshi, we can use like almost a half collar drag as well. I can always take a smaller step and start to trip this leg, and then use that as my snap out as well. But same with the cross lapel, we can also come here and start to look for those same situations.